I'm Carissa and this is Griffin. We're from the Slate. In the news this week, CNN anchor Soledad O'Brien presents a lecture at the Lohr Center. In Arts and Entertainment, an article on the vagina monologues. Also check out our articles on Ship Idol, APB presents a Make Your Own Mask, a Professor Spotlight, and our weekly edition of True Life. In sports this week, both swimming teams are in the PSACs this weekend. Wrestling hosts Senior Night against Kutztown. And make sure you check out the Slate on newsstands this Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Welcome back. Let's go to Jim Gallagher and Mariana Boguski with this week's SUTV Sports. Guys?
Hey Jim, did you know that over the weekend the men's basketball team lost in a contest against Cheney with a final score of 78-72? The Raiders play this Saturday at Mansfield and tip-off is set for 3 o'clock.
The women's basketball team had better luck against Cheney, crushing them 76-51. The game was held at home for the Lady Raiders, and if you were there, I'm sure you saw a sea of pink. Here's SUTV's Amanda Peterson with more. Amanda?
Saturday's game was as much about a color as basketball. The Lady Raiders sponsored the Pink Zone, a women's collegiate basketball event to raise money for breast cancer awareness. Everyone wore pink, and a silent auction and other prizes raised money for the cause. Organizers used timeouts to lob pink t-shirts at enthusiastic fans. In just 4 years, the WBCA Pink Zone has raised over $3 million. Nice that Ship is pinking up too. Amanda Peterson, SUTV Sports.
Thanks, Amanda. Last week, the wrestling team achieved an impressive 28-9 dual meet victory over Anderson. Their last match is tomorrow at Higas Fieldhouse at 7 p.m. Come out and show your support.
The baseball team didn't have much luck either, losing both of their games against Catawba last weekend. That drops their record to 0-6 for the season. Keep an eye out for second baseman Eric Herman. He leads the Raiders in hitting with a .381 batting average.
The Raiders look to get their first win on the road against South Carolina-Aiken on Friday. That's all for this week's SUTV Sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Anyone who's taken classes at Ship knows our professors are interesting characters. Anna Kerstetter is shining a light on a staff member with this week's featured teacher.
I always loved making art, and it was so obvious. It was never a question of what I would do when I grew up.
Professor Janet Ruby discovered her path early in life and wasted no time in following it.
I always knew I was going to be a teacher, and I had all these dolls, and I would set them all up around the little table, and I would give them an art lesson every day. Later, when I was very young, I maybe was 7 years old, I started holding art lessons for my neighborhood, and the children would all come over, and we had a little breezeway, and I would give art lessons. And I had a pull toward everything artistic.
As an adult, that pull brought her to Shippensburg University.
There was a little notice that was coming around that Shippensburg University was advertising for an art professor. So I wrote a letter and I said, "I'm here, the person you've been looking for." And I couldn't believe it, but they actually called me.
Now Professor Ruby is sharing her love of art and teaching in a new way.
Prentice Hall / Pearson has signed a contract with me to write a new genre of art appreciation textbook. It is a hands-on book. It's a much more interactive textbook than the kinds we're used to.
So what advice does she give to students hoping to make it in the art world?
I would suggest that you get out there and start making art. Make as much art as you possibly can. Keep going, keep making art, keep trying new things. Get people to give you honest critiques on your work, join a critique group, and stick with it. Eventually you will make it.
For SUTV News, I'm Anna Kerstetter.
Also, here's a fun fact about Professor Ruby. She grew up across the street from Jerry and Ben of Jerry's Ice Cream. I wonder if she could hook us up with some sweet treats.
Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream. There we go. I could go for some Cherry Garcia.
Before we go, all of us at SUTV News work hard and we have fun doing it.
So when I went up to New York this week, SUTV General Manager Bubba Smith and SUTV News Executive Producer Barbara Shindo tagged along. They were a big help. Now, while I was working on Soledad's interview, those two were having some fun capturing the day on camera.
A train ride.
It's 8:30. We were supposed to be on the road at 8:30. Barbara Shindo is nowhere to be found.
A somewhat delayed car ride. A taxi trip through downtown and eventually an arrival in New York City. For 3 college journalists, this Valentine's Day was more than memorable.
It went by so fast, but it was a great experience.
Hundreds of miles from ship, but only a few feet away from living a dream, we had high hopes for the interview.
What if the control room messed up and they did a live shot of me and Soledad and we were on CNN?
One particular director felt right at home in the CNN studio.
So I just walked up and told Soledad, I was like, Soledad, can I have you move forward? You know what? She's been on air before. She's used to it. Didn't even think twice. She's like, yeah, go ahead, move the chair up. So I just moved the chair up, told Soledad what to do.
When it was all said and done, emotions were high, but egos were higher.
High-priced talent.
Before we knew it, we were homeward bound.
I think it hit us when we were leaving CNN. We were there for, what, 2 hours, I'd say? And it flew by.
So I had,
And the story shared.
I had this gorilla mask, which was really scary.
And the memories made along the way.
Billy, I'm here to ride the train to see him.
Only enriched the experience.
How have these in-American projects changed you?
Anxiously reporting for SUTV News, Bubba Smith
And Barbara Shindo.
So proud.
So Kyle, what was Soledad like in person?
Soledad was so sweet, one of the nicest people I've met, and she was just so cool. So it was awesome meeting her, and it was a great time being at CNN. Felt like right at home. Someday I'll be there.
Must have been a great experience.
It was.
That's it for SUTV News. I'm Ashley Johnson.
And I'm Kyle Rogers. Thanks for joining us. Check us out online at facebook.com/SUTV News. We'll see you next time.